The scent of lavender and freshly brewed chai always hung in the air in their home after Ilara arrived. For Rohan, it was a stark contrast to the quiet, almost sterile environment that had permeated the house since his mother passed away 5 years ago. His father, Vikram, had found love again, and Ilara, his new stepmother, had brought with her a vibrancy that Rohan hadn't realized he was missing. Ilara was undeniably beautiful. Her dark hair, often pulled back in a loose bun, framed a face that seemed to glow with an inner warmth. But it was her eyes that truly captivated him. Large, expressive pools of hazel that held a depth of kindness Rohan had rarely encountered. They crinkled at the corners when she smiled, a smile that seemed genuine and reached all the way to her heart. Initially, Rohan had been wary. Another woman in his mother's place felt like a betrayal, a disruption to the quiet grief he had grown accustomed to. He kept his distance, offering curt nods and monosyllabic answers to her attempts at conversation. But Ilara was patient, her kindness a gentle tide that slowly eroded the walls he had built around himself. She never tried to replace his mother. Instead, she spoke of her with respect, asking Rohan about his memories, listening intently with those large, empathetic eyes. She filled the house with warmth, not by erasing the past, but by adding a new layer of comfort and care. One of the most significant ways Ilara showed her care was through Rohan's studies. He was in his final year of high school, the pressure mounting with looming board exams. Vikram, a busy architect, often left Rohan to his own devices, trusting him to manage his time. But Rohan found himself easily distracted, his motivation waning in the face of his grief and the general upheaval in his life. Ilara noticed. Without being intrusive, she started taking an interest in his subjects. She'd ask him what he was learning, not in a demanding way, but with genuine curiosity. She'd sit with him at the dining table after dinner, not to quiz him, but to offer quiet companionship as he worked. Sometimes she'd even help him organize his notes or find relevant documentaries online. Her presence was a subtle but powerful motivator. Knowing she cared enough to sit with him, to offer him a cup of chai or a slice of her homemade cake during his study breaks, made the arduous task feel less lonely. He found himself explaining complex concepts to her, and in doing so solidifying his own understanding. Her encouraging words, delivered in a soft, melodious voice, were far more effective than his father's occasional, rushed reminders to study. As they spent more time together, a shift began to occur within Rohan. He started noticing the small details about Ilara that went beyond her beauty. He saw the way her brow furrowed in concentration when she was reading, the gentle way she tended to the small potted plants on the windowsill, the infectious enthusiasm she displayed when talking about her passion for art history. He found himself looking forward to their study sessions, not just for the academic help, but for her company. He'd linger in the kitchen in the mornings, hoping for a brief conversation while she prepared breakfast. He'd offer to help her with chores, just to spend a few extra moments in her presence. It was during one such evening study session that the realization hit him with unexpected force. Ilara was explaining a particularly complex theorem in physics, her brow furrowed in concentration, her finger gently tracing a diagram in his textbook. The lamplight caught the soft down on her cheek, and her lavender scent filled the air. In that moment, a feeling surged through Rohan, a feeling far more intense than gratitude or familial affection. It was a confusing, unsettling, yet undeniably powerful attraction. He tried to ignore it, to dismiss it as a temporary infatuation born out of proximity and her kindness. But the feeling persisted, growing stronger with each passing day. He found himself noticing the way her clothes draped on her figure, the subtle curve of her neck, the way her eyes sparkled when she talked about something she loved. He became acutely aware of the moments of accidental physical contact, their hands brushing as they reached for a book, her arm lightly touching his as she leaned over to point something out in his notes. Each fleeting touch sent a jolt through him, leaving him flustered and confused. His internal conflict was immense. He knew it was wrong, that his feelings were inappropriate, a betrayal of his father's trust and a violation of the familial bond he was slowly building with Elara. The guilt gnawed at him, creating a constant tension within him. Elara, oblivious to the turmoil brewing within her stepson, continued to be her warm and supportive self. She noticed Rohan's increased engagement in his studies, his improved grades in practice tests, and praised him genuinely